Hey, everybody, it's time to play ball. For real, we're getting really close. Welcome, everybody, to Two Majors and a Minor. I'm Tim Paul, coming to you from our studios, 216 Creator Studios in Crystal Lake. And Nick is our producer behind the camera today. How you doing, Nick?
Doing good, doing good. It's finally starting to get warmer, so.
It is starting to get warmer,
Yeah.
but there's still snow on the ground.
Yes, there
Yeah,
is,
so
unfortunately.
it's-
I'm excited for today's guest. It's glad to have him back.
Oh, I can't tell you how excited I am about it. This is my favorite time of year. You know, opening day is just around the corner, and to me, that's like Christmas Day. You know, that's just something to look forward to. I'm going to take the day off, even though I'll work through it. But I'll still take the day off in my mind.
Good.
But we're gonna have a blast. So we've got a great lineup today for you. Because joining us today is the play-by-play voice that you hear on Marquee Sports Network, especially when Boog Jon Sciambi is missing, doing off ESPN duties. So here's one of the rising young voices in Chicago Cubs baseball. Please welcome Alex Cohen to the show. Hey, Alex.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing terrific. Thanks for being back with us again.
Anytime. It means that baseball season is coming closer and closer. So.
Oh, it sure is. And we're so excited because this is going to be such an exciting season, I think. Maybe even more exciting than what last season ended up being.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. I mean, when you have 92 wins and you win a playoff series at Wrigley Field and come, one game to go into the NLCS, really exciting last season. And, you saw some of the young superstars really take their place at the top of superstardom, as I said, with the year that Pete Crow-Armstrong had and Michael Busch had. It'll be really special to see how they can build on that this year.
It really will. I'm looking forward to that PCA chant starting next week. I'm sure that will be there. It's going to be fun. But something has changed since the last time we saw you. A little bit of a change there at Marquee Sports as of this year. Tell us a little bit about the new role that you're going to have with Marquee Sports.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar, but also different. I'm still able to call, a package of games when Boog does Sunday Night Baseball and then select series. So I think I did 36 games last year, and I'm expecting to do a similar amount this season. But one of the big things is we're starting a podcast 2 times a week. It's called Cubs Now. It's myself and Lance Brostowski. If you know me and you know Lance, you know that we both love baseball, but we view baseball in 2 completely different contexts. I mean, he is very analytical, data-based. Me, like I bring on a lot of my content from, being on the plane, being on the bus, being in the hotel, just trying to understand what these guys go through. And I think that's just a product of working in minor league baseball for over a decade and seeing these guys in single A, double A, triple A, then when they make it to the big leagues. So he and I get to talk about our different perspectives and make it interactive. So it's a combination of podcast work and a couple games of play-by-play, and hopefully be able to talk meaningful Cubs baseball in October, then November. So
we're looking forward to that. We're definitely going to catch your podcast. What's the name of the podcast again?
It's called Cubs Now. We actually unveiled it during our last spring training broadcast on Sunday. And some of the first episodes are going to be next week. And we have an episode with Alex Bregman coming out. That's going to be our first one. So, best way to possibly start when you get the $175 million man to talk. And he was great. And then we'll talk season preview, and then we'll be up and running. So we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, that will be exciting. And I think now we'll get right into the 26 Cubs. As you mentioned, Alex Bregman, he's the new guy on the block. And what does he bring to the Cubs now? I think it's a lot more than that bat and that glove of his. What's he bring to the clubhouse?
1 word, 3 letters, win.
Yeah.
Wins at every level, every time he steps onto a field outside of when he made his initial debut. It wasn't even his rookie season. From the time that he actually had his rookie season to now, he's made the playoffs. The guy wins. He commands respect. He is a veteran in the locker room. He's relatable. He's somebody that can attract all types of players, whether it is veteran players who solicit his advice or younger players who are just a sponge when talking to him. He's the perfect type of leader. He is the perfect type of experience point for this clubhouse. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does as a Chicago Cub, not just this year, but for 4 more years after that.
That's exactly right, because he's been signed to that long-term deal.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to is, we hear all of this, and I believe as good as Kyle Tucker is, and he is, Kyle Tucker is without a doubt one of the top baseball players in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to miss him. He was great watching. But having an Alex Bregman, I think he brings so much more to the game. And like you said, to the younger players and the veterans alike, I think I love that 3-letter word, win. I think that's going to be the difference that we're going to see. I think it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, he wins. I mean, he's a win. I just remember the press conference, the introductory press conference in January. Why do you wear number 3? Well, I want to win my 3rd championship. That's such a flex.
Exactly.
That's such a flex. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him try to do that in Chicago.
Yeah, and I love the banter between he and Dansby Swanson.
Yeah, of course.
Over that number, because they were both selected in the same year. Dansby, I believe, was number 1 and Bregman was number 2, or was it the other way around?
No, it was Dansby was the first overall.
Dansby was first, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun watching that left side of the infield this year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's going to be a blast.
So this is a very current topic.
Sure.
What's the latest updates you've heard on Seiya? Is he going to miss part of the season, or?
No, I mean, I think what they said yesterday was, PCL sprain, and it is, they seem cautiously optimistic. You definitely see Seiya come out of a WBC game and limping, and you get scared. So I think it's best possible scenario, or one of the best possible scenarios. So I think it's just day by day, but I think that the main thing that I took out of it is they're not shutting him down for baseball activities. I mean, they said that he's going to be playing catch as soon as today. So the fact that they're not shutting him down for baseball activities means the acceleration point to getting him game ready will not be as bad as it would be if they were shutting him down. So I think it's inconclusive, but I think everything that we've been given to this point showcases that it's not going to be a prolonged injury.
That's going to be good news when we get that. And I don't want to say it's a blessing in disguise, but we're going to get a chance to look at maybe somebody else getting a chance to see what they can give the Cubs in 26.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want. Yeah, I want Seiya Suzuki and right, and I think you meant that too. It's just
yes.
Yeah, it's really hard to replace 30 and 100. 30 homers and 100 runs batted in. But yeah, I mean, if Matt Shaw can get into a rhythm and he can play some games in right field, and you could possibly see something from 1 or 2 of Dylan Carlson, Chas McCormick, Michael Conforto, whoever they decide to keep on the roster. I mean, those are guys that have certain pedigrees that that they could possibly break out in a big spot. And if that spot is March 26th with the Chicago Cubs against the Washington Nationals, great.
That's exactly right. That's perfect. It's also been fun this spring. We have something that we don't have every year, but we had that World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And the Cubs played quite a bit, had quite an influence on this year's play.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Venezuela wins the World Championship and the guy who records the final out is the Chicago Cubs closer, that's that's pretty neat. And then when you look in the game for Team USA, they had not 1, not 2, but 3 players involved in it. So, I think that the Cubs had a huge influence in the World Baseball Classic. Really feel great for Daniel Palencia. I mean, remember this time last year, he was in Japan battling for a 26-man roster spot. Now he's on the world stage and he's, getting Shohei Ohtani out in the semis, and he striking out the side in the 9th inning, or striking out, retiring the side in order in the 9th inning against USA. So pretty special.
Yeah, it is very special. It speaks well for us getting into October and having that at the back end of the bullpen ready to go.
Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely.
As it is key with every Major League Ball club, staying healthy all year, and especially making sure you get healthy when you get to that October drive. Because who do you see in the National League Central as being our biggest threat? You think it's still the Milwaukee Brewers?
I mean, just with the winning pedigree, and they still have Jackson Chourio, they still have Christian Yelich, and they still have guys that are used to winning and a really good manager. So I think it's the Brewers. I think the Pirates are going to surprise some people because I think they can really pitch. Yeah, and it's not just Paul Skeens, and he's the best pitcher in the National League, and rightfully so. But if they can get contributions from Bubba Chandler, and they can get contributions from Mitch Keller, and they get Jared Jones back, that's a really good rotation like top 5 in the big leagues good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of 4-2, 5-3 games for the Pirates. And you look at their offense, and they have, they signed Marcell Ozuna, they brought in Brandon Lau, and that's a little bit of a jolt. I mean, you add that to the O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds, like that's a formidable middle of the lineup right there. I mean, is it the best in baseball? No, but if you combine that with the starting pitching, that could give you enough juice to win some close games. So I think the Pirates will surprise some people.
Well, we're going to keep an eye out for that. And the Reds aren't that bad either. The Reds got some good ball players.
They do. I think the Hunter Green injury is a big one for them. That really aligns the rotation. That being said, I mean, they got some really good young starting pitchers, Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns. So if one of them can take a step, then they can be added to the Brady Singer, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo. Like that's a pretty decent rotation. But I think losing Hunter Green, for the first half of the season is a big blow for them.
It truly is. It truly is. And then the rival we love to hate or hate to love, either way, the Cardinals, I think they're maybe bringing up the rear end as they're looking to rebuild again this year.
You never know, but they definitely have like a reflux, not an influx of talent. They have guys who are, just starting to come up. I mean, that being said, I mean, they got some really talented players. Like Mason Wynn at short's a really good player. Like, one of the better shortstops in baseball. Hopefully they can get something out of Jordan Walker and Victor Scott. They got JJ Weatherholt coming up in their organization. He's a top prospect. So it's not like they don't have talent. They do. They just, they're in that like revolution of a rebuild right now, and they're coming on up from that.
Yeah, but the Central's definitely going to be strong this year. I don't think any team's going to completely run away with it. I would
agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be good. I believe, getting back to our Cubbies, Craig Counsell, I believe he's going to have a better bench this year, and he hasn't selected the final spots on the bench. But most of the spots have been set in stone pretty much before spring training. How do you see our bench being different from last year? How would you analyze that?
I mean, it's one name. It's Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw was a starter on the team last year. Now he's a guy who can play 3, 4, 5 different positions, and you can be creative getting his at bat into the lineup, and you can, give Seiya Suzuki a break. You can give Nico Horner a break. You can give Dansby Swanson a break. You can give Michael Busch a break. So I think just having a guy like Matt Shaw as like your top option off the bench automatically makes you, your bench a little bit deeper than it was last year.
I agree. Now, you've seen Matt play both first base and right field in the spring a little bit, more than we've had a chance to back here in Chicago. How's he looking at first, and how's he looking in right field?
He's just an athlete. I mean, everything that he does, even if it is difficult, he makes look pretty easy. And it's real tough. Like, he's never had a first baseman's glove. In right field, he was talking about the outfielder glove, how it's different. He says he's taken more reps in center than he has in right, but he's been pretty graceful in the grand scheme of things. So I think that he could be an option at both of those positions with varying levels of confidence, but just got to get the bat into the lineup, and his bat this spring's been really good.
Yeah, he really has. Yeah, it seems like he's kept going what he was doing at the end of last year rather than the first half.
Yeah. He's been the bats look good.
Yeah. Well, playing right field in Wrigley Field is going to be a little different than playing right field at Sloan Park, but I'm sure that he'll get a little experience out there.
Yeah, I mean, the ball will carry a little bit more at Sloan Park than it will at Wrigley Field in March. So
that's right. That's right. Well, how about this pitching staff that we've got? It's really the starting rotation is deep. The bullpen looks deeper than I think what we had last year going into it. I have more confidence this year, especially with Palencia, the way he has stepped up, and obviously he's going to anchor the back end of that bullpen.
Yeah, I think the starting pitching is as deep as it's been, really since the 2016 team. And it's not just Edward Cabrera, Cade Horton, Matthew Boyd, Shota Imanaga, Justin Steele, Jameson Taillon. You can't forget about Colin Ray, who logged a career high in innings last year. You can't forget about Javier Assad. He's got a sub-3.5 ERA in his career. Ben Brown has looked really good this spring. Jackson Wiggins waiting in the wings. So
yeah,
Jordan Wicks, who's coming back from injury. So that's 10 guys right there who are formidable starting pitchers. So I think the starting pitching depth is huge for the Chicago Cubs. I think they're in the best place that they've been in from a starting pitching standpoint in a decade. So I think that'll be huge.
It does. It feels really good. That's for sure. Now, Ben Brown, he added that third pitch, is what he's been lacking.
Yeah, added the sinker. So you can add that with the four-seamer and the curveball. And I think that he'll still occasionally throw a changeup. But, yeah, there's a big difference between a 2-pitch pitcher and a 3-pitch pitcher when you're a starter. So if you can go with a 99-mile-per-hour four-seamer, a 97-mile-per-hour sinker with a 79 to 81-mile-per-hour curveball, I mean, that's a big difference. So
it is a big difference.
I think that if the slider keeps on paying those early dividends, he's a much different pitcher.
Well, it makes a huge difference in when he gets to that second round, working through the batting orders.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the sinker also helps induce ground balls. So
yeah, and that's really important at Wrigley Field. So that's all good. How's it looking for who do you think is going to get the ball in the 8th inning now? Who's going to be our setup man to start out with?
I mean, it really depends. Like if it's right-handed hitters coming up, I would imagine it's some variation between Hunter Harvey, Jacob Webb, and Phil Maton. I mean, if it's lefties coming up, I think Caleb Thielbar was great last year, and I think Hobie Milner's been one of the more steady left-handed relievers in baseball over the last handful of years. So really depends on who's up, but I would imagine Thielbar, Milner, Hunter Harvey, Jacob Webb, Phil Maton getting like the big crucial outs in that spot. And also like you could potentially put Ben Brown there if you don't see him getting enough innings as a starter.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think we'll leave that to Mr. Counsell. I think he will do a fine job.
Yeah, Mr. Hottovy might have an opinion.
Little say in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about, I was going to ask you about the catching situation. We obviously are going to be carrying 3 catchers. One of the catchers is going to be our DH, Mr. Ballesteros.
Yeah.
But I saw him briefly behind the plate a couple times this spring, and he was pretty good with that new rule with the umpire
challenges. Yeah, I mean, he's really smart kid, 21 years old, wise beyond his years. I think especially if he can catch 15, 20 games, it makes him so much more valuable because it gives Miguel Amaya days off. It gives Carson Kelly days off. It allows Miguel Amaya to possibly go play first, which he's done before. I think carrying 3 catchers is a luxury. All of them who can hit. I mean, Carson Kelly came off a career year. Miguel Amaya was having a career year before he got hurt. And then you have Moises Ballesteros, who's a hit first guy. So
exactly.
I think that if Moises can have catcher flexibility, makes him more valuable, but the bat plays regardless.
Yeah, and any team would love to have to deal with that issue and having 3 catchers who can both hit and play a little defense on top of it. We on an episode we haven't aired yet. We just did air it. We had a baseball umpire on, and we were talking about the new strike zone and the new robo pitching cup. What are the players talking about? Are they looking forward to it? Are they getting used to it?
Well, a lot of them are used to it already because it was instituted in the minor leagues 4 years ago. So I think if you look at the Cubs players, Pete Crow-Armstrong is used to it. Matt Shaw is used to it. Moises Ballesteros is used to it. Guys, when they've come down on major league rehab, they've utilized it as well. Seiya Suzuki has seen it. Nico Horner's seen it. So, yeah, they're familiar with it. So I don't think it's as much of a shock to the system for these players as people think that it is.
And you've been witnessing it for a few years with your experience with the Iowa Cubs.
Yeah.
Did you see it as a benefit to baseball?
It's an absolute benefit. You have more opportunities to get the right calls right.
Yeah, there were some calls in the World Baseball Classic that I think might have been overturned.
Yes.
With the robocall.
I think you're right. You're right.
So, well, that's going to be another fun part to watch this season. There's always something new. The only baseball rule that I've never agreed with changing, and I'm a traditionalist, I didn't like changing. If it's perfect in any way, why change it? However,
nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect other than a 120 Friday game at Wrigley Field. So
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
But I still have one gripe with one rule, and that's the extra inning rule where we put the imaginary runner on second base.
I understand that.
Yeah, because that's what we used to do when we played wiffle ball in the backyard with my brothers. We had the imaginary
runner. But that was perfect. That was perfect. So
that was perfect. You're absolutely right. So you've corrected me, and I stand ready to go with
I'm
that.
just messing with you.
Yeah. But you know what? When it counts, when we get to the playoffs, we don't do that. So then it gets exciting again.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And I'm being told here by Nick, we're going to take just a quick break here. If it's all right with you, we're going to run our little sponsorship commercial break, and we'll be right back.
That's good.
Looking for more than just a piano? Discover the complete music experience at Piano Trends Music Company. Yes, they're known for exceptional grand and upright pianos, but that's just the beginning. Piano Trends Music also offers band and orchestra instruments, guitars, violins, digital keyboards, and everything musicians and students need to grow and perform. Getting ready for school band? Picking up a guitar for the first time? Maybe upgrading your instrument? The experienced team at Piano Trends Music will help you find the perfect fit. Plus, with professional repairs, rentals, and private music lessons all under one roof, Piano Trends Music is your trusted hometown music partner. Visit Piano Trends Music Company in Crystal Lake, pianotrends.com, where music begins and every instrument has a story. And welcome back. We're with Cubs Marquee sportscaster Alex Cohen today, and we're getting the lowdown on some of the Chicago Cubs in the upcoming season, which is right around the corner. We, at the time of this recording, we're about a week away from opening day.
Right. That's right. You're getting ready for summer. That's why I'm wearing short sleeves right now.
That's right.
Tan lines.
Well, we're ready. I even sleep in my Cub t-shirts now, and that's how I get time for the season. Yeah. You know, Alex, with the season coming out, just ready to start, is there an underlying story that Cub fans should be watching for that you think might pop up that nobody's expecting?
I don't think that nobody's expecting it. I think just realizing that by acquiring Edward Cabrera and getting a second year of Cade Horton, that you could have two number ones. Like, I think Edward Cabrera is the highest ceiling for a Cubs starting pitcher since Jake Arrieta. Like, that good. Yeah. So the fact that you can get him at the top of his game and Cade Horton at the top of his game, and both are healthy, I mean, that transforms the starting rotation. So I think just recognizing the ceiling of what this starting rotation could be with those two guys and adding it with all-star Matthew Boyd and getting Shota back, if you could get Shota of 2024 and not at the end of 2025, getting Justin Steele back and then having Jameson Taillon. So I think that I'm not sure people recognize the ceiling that this starting rotation can have.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the wild card there is Justin Steele, because it sounds like, if anything, he's ahead of schedule, but they don't have to rush him back into the rotation.
Yeah, it's a good position to be in when you have a guy who was your ace for a year and a half, 2 years, and he's coming back from an injury, and it seems to be rehabbing well from that, and already going through live BPs, and getting swings and misses from Michael Busch and Jonathan Long, and I think it's a really nice asset to have, a guy who has such a good track record and somebody who means a lot to the Cubs organization, getting him back into the fold in a position where he doesn't need to be a number one right away.
No, he doesn't. And it also bodes well when we get to playoff time, where we've got that many and that quality of starting pitching that we didn't have when we weaved our way through the playoffs last year. And that's obviously going to make a big difference. And obviously Jed Hoyer realized that going into the offseason, he needed to create more depth. And not only did he create more depth, he created more quality at the top of that rotation. Like you said, he took the big swing and got Edward Cabrera. And I think that's going to be, one of the key moves. But I think all the pieces, he's kind of falling together. We don't have a lot of weak spots, I don't think.
No.
They're
a pretty deep team. I think you'll just look at bullpen where you lose a lot of production in Brad Keller and you lose a lot of production through Pomerantz, and you hope that Hunter Harvey and Jacob Webb and Phil Maton can fill that role. I think they will, but that's a question mark. You just don't know.
You don't know until you get out there and you prove it and see it. But I have confidence in that, because if there's one area of strength that Jed Hoyer has, it's been building a bullpen year after year, because each year it's been a different bullpen.
It has.
And each year the bullpen has ended up being a good strength of the Cubs for the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, finding strengths in guys like Drew Pomerantz, and before that, Tyson Miller, and before that, Julian Merriweather. I mean, guys that other teams really gave up on. You get them to the Cubs, you get them into the pitch lab, and then 2 weeks later, they're pitching high leverage situations for the Cubs and getting big outs. So,
yep, exactly. And obviously, Tommy Hotovy has a lot to do with that. Watching from your viewpoint,
sure.
What does Hotovy do with these pitchers that is maybe different from what some of the other pitching coaches around the league do? How is Tommy Hotovy different?
He's so calm and relatable. I think that he'll go out there during a pitching change and lock eyes with you and just settle you down. He did that a lot with Daniel Palencia last year, I noticed. Just making sure that guys have a little bit less to worry about. I mean, getting out to the big leagues is stressful. You're making a lot of money. You're doing it in front of a lot of people. You're playing for an organization that has a lot of high hopes. So I think Tommy does a tremendous job at just simplifying it and taking a lot of the stressors off the back of these pitchers that they might have in other organizations with other pitching coaches.
Exactly. How about some of the other coaching changes that happened over the winter? How do you see that playing out? Do you think it's a disruption? Do you think it's been a transition?
I mean, when you still have your manager in Craig Counsell, and you still have your bench coach in Ryan Flaherty, and you still have your hitting coaches in Dustin Kelly and John Maley, and you have Casey Jacobson in his second year underneath Tommy Hotovy, who you still have, like, the core is still there. Like the core of the guys that you're able to build trust in are still there. So, yeah, there have been people within the organizations that have gotten promotions at other organizations, and that's great. That's why you do it. But the fact is, like, the core 5 coaches for the Cubs are still there, and they're still able to build the relationship with these players. So I think they're in a good spot.
I agree. I think that's great, and it's something to look forward to. The Cubs have an interesting early season schedule. We start out with so-called easier games here at Wrigley, but they're all major league clubs. Yes. I think we obviously want to get off to a quick and fast start, because we've got some road challenges in the early months, and they don't exactly make geographical sense sometimes.
Yeah, you go to Philly, and then you come home, and then you go to California. Like, that's right in the middle of April. So, yeah, I mean, I think that whenever you have a series at home on March 26th, there's a lot of variables out there that you can throw away in June and July. Like, that's a Nationals team that I don't think they're expected to win a lot of games, but they're healthy. They're probably throwing their best out there. So you never know what's going to happen during the opening series. And then that first road trip, like, you're going to Cleveland and you're going to Tampa. Tampa's going back to their stadium, and Cleveland's going to be freezing. So, it's an interesting first 10, 15 games until you come home and you get some of the blue bloods, like you're playing the Mets at home. You go to Philly, you play Phillies against at home, and then you go to LA and San Diego to cap off the month. Yeah,
that's all a tough stretch. How do the ball players react and adjust when you've got that kind of a schedule where you're kind of off and running to all parts of the country with short home stands, short road stands? And
they're used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that once you get out of spring training, you need like a day or two to get your bearings. But a lot of these guys have been playing baseball for a really long time, so they're used to going back and forth. Whether you're in the minor leagues and you're going from Arizona to Iowa, then to Columbus, and then back to Iowa, then Minneapolis, and then back to Iowa, then Omaha, then back to Iowa. So I think that they're used to it. Will they enjoy a cold early April series in Cleveland? Probably not. Probably not. But I mean, the Guardians are dealing with that too. They're dealing with the same weather. So at least early on, like, it's not totally across the country. I mean, Cleveland is a close flight. Tampa is a 2-hour flight. Like, you're not going from coast to coast. Exactly.
Getting back to the booth, when you're going to be subbing in for Boog during the season, is it a challenge, and how do you bring balance to bringing your own voice to the booth while still keeping that familiar Cubs broadcast feel for fans?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge because, I'm so used to calling 150 games in 162 days with doing minor league baseball. Calling 35 and 162 games is different. You got to make sure that I don't try to call every game like it's game 7 of the World Series, because it's not. But it's just being relatable, having a conversation, recognizing that Boog and JD and Boog and Depp have a different relationship and a different rapport than I'll have with JD, or I'll have with Depp, or I'll have with Elise Menaker, or our other color analysts. So just being true to myself, and at the grand, when it all comes together, just we're talking baseball. We're just talking baseball and trying to do it in the most entertaining way possible.
You definitely do it in an entertaining way. We really enjoy. I love your calls, and I love your home run calls.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's and that doesn't come easy, because there's been a lot of great home run calls by Cubs announcers over the past years.
Thanks,
and I have to say, Pat Hughes is my favorite on his home run calls right now, but he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot of practice.
Yeah, a lot of practice. Yeah. Which is great. But no, we really do enjoy your game calling. I think it's definitely, I understand why the Cubs want you doing it on a regular basis.
I appreciate
there's no doubt.
It's very nice of you.
Big question though. This is, you might want to think about this.
Yep.
What's the food like in the booth? So who do you guys order the same food? Do you have what's your favorite?
I mean, it depends on the booth. And also it's different if I am calling a game than if I am not calling a game. Like if I am not calling a game, you throw the kitchen sink at me. I'll eat whatever I want, wherever I want.
Right.
If I am calling a game, it's a little bit different because, you don't want your stomach dirty. You don't want to have to go to the bathroom or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, I like the Wrigley press box food. I like the Wrigley Field food. I would have to say the best food that we've had is probably in Miami, just because they have all these different types of delicacies down there.
Yeah.
I love me some Cuban food, and they have Cuban food down there. So really like that. But I would say, like, when I'm in the press box, I don't eat as exploratory as I would if I were a fan at a ballpark.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I think I would feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So what is going to be, what Cub player do you think is going to be a Cub player that's going to break out this year? Do you have a thought on that? Is there going to be a breakout season for someone?
To break out, it's interesting. I mean, I think Michael Busch, if he hits against lefties, I think he's going to hit 40 home runs. I mean, he hit over 30 last year, but I mean, once you get over that 40 home run threshold, that's pretty special. I think Pete Crow-Armstrong is going to continue to get better. And I think that if he does get the on-base percentage up a little bit, and I'm not even saying you need to get to 360. Like, he was at 284, 285 last year. I think it was at 285 or 286. Sorry. But if he can get up into the 315 range, that means he's getting on base an additional 20 times. That means that he's probably stealing 4 to 5 more bases and scoring 6 to 8 more runs. And that will turn him from a 6-WAR player to a 7-WAR player to an MVP candidate. So I think that's small room of growth for PCA. And if he can continue doing what he's doing defensively and with the power and the speed, this is going to be cliche, but he could be one of the best players in the National League. So,
as he was in the first half of last year. Yeah. And I think that it strikes a balance. You don't want to take away his aggressiveness at the plate either. But obviously, I know that he's been working on pitch selection. And if once he balances that out as a young player, I think you're right. I think you're headed to the superstar status.
Yeah.
It was easy for me to say, by the way.
Superstar status.
Superstar status.
Say it 5 times quickly. Exactly.
That's right. Okay, so Michael Busch, he's going to be playing against left-handers this year.
Yep.
But when he's not, obviously Matt Shaw's going to maybe fill in from there. Miguel Amaya, and even Ballesteros took some plays at first base.
He did too. So did Carson Kelly. I mean, they will try to figure it out with the guys they have on the big league roster. But don't forget, Cubs minor league player of the year, Johnny Long, waiting in the wings. I mean, he played first base too. So. Yeah,
there's still good depth down on the farm. I know it's not like it was a few years ago, they say, but the pieces that are there are there to fill in where it may be needed.
Yep.
I want to ask you too about we haven't touched base with this, but Michael Conforto coming over. Obviously, he had great years when he was with the Mets. He had a tough year with the Dodgers last year. Have you seen a difference in him this spring that he's maybe has a chance to get back to maybe what he was as a Met?
Yeah, I mean, he's swinging the bat well. I mean, don't forget 2 years ago with San Francisco also had a pretty nice year in
He did.
2024. So it's not even as distant as it was, from the Mets, right before COVID. So I think he's right in the mix. He's with Dylan Carlson. He's with Chas McCormick. And I know that the Cubs like all three of them in varying levels. And it'll be very interesting to see who of those guys, whether it's one, whether it's two, whether it's all three, who they'll keep. I don't think it'll be all three. I think there's a possibility there'll be two. So Michael Conforto is part of that. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, it'd be fun watching to see how that happens, and we'll know in a few days now because we're getting to the nitty gritty of it.
Yep.
So spring training, what do some of the Cub players think in the last few days of spring training? Are they thinking about ramping up and playing a little bit more, or they kind of want to, tone it down as they get ready for Wrigley Field next week?
Yeah, I think last week is where you saw a lot of the players playing back-to-back games. I know Ian Happ did it. I know Michael Busch did it. Nico Horner did it. Dansby Swanson did it once. Matt Shaw did it a bunch. So I think last week was like the week that they were building up. I still think like at the beginning of this week that you'll see some guys going back-to-back. But once you get to the weekend, maybe Saturday or Sunday, guys are, all right, we're starting to pack up our stuff, clean our gear, and let's go wheels up to Chicago.
Yeah, excellent. This has been great. Is there anything else that you could tell us about the Cubs coming up this year that we didn't discuss today?
Sure. I mean, I want to reiterate this. I mean, I think that the Cubs, I mean, their projected win total was like 88.5. And I think that, they won 92 games last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that this year, 90 or 94, like somewhere in that range. But if Cade Horton and if Edward Cabrera are the real deal, and I think that they are, I think it transforms this team. Like, I think if they are healthy and they throw their ace stuff the entire year, you're looking at a 95 to 100 win team. Like, I think they can really transform what they're trying to do.
I agree with that. I think that's an excellent observation. And I don't think there's that much difference between us and the Los Angeles Dodgers, even though.
Well, I mean, if Cade Horton and Edward Cabrera are legit,
yeah,
you could say that their rotation is better than the Dodgers right now. Like, you really could. Like, the Dodgers are very top heavy, but Blake Snell might not be coming back until May or June, and they're going, into the regular season with some unproven pieces. Like, River Ryan's probably going to be in their starting rotation, and the fact that the Cubs legitimately go 7 deep in their rotation in their big league roster with other reinforcements at the AAA level, you're looking at the deepest starting staff, even including the Dodgers in the National League and maybe in all of baseball. And that's such a luxury to have.
Yeah, it truly is. And like we talked about a little bit earlier, when we get Justin Steele back, it just becomes all that much deeper with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe I heard that Craig Counsell is even contemplating a 6-man rotation for part of the season at some point.
It's a good option to have. That means that you have enough guys who could throw big league caliber innings. So I am not shocked that he wouldn't contemplate that, because if you have the weapons to do so, like, you can be much more creative.
Exactly. Well, this is great. Thank you for being with us. Hopefully, maybe we can touch base at least once during the season, during your downtime, right?
Yeah, you know where to find me. Always down to talk baseball. So,
we're glad to have you. This is a blast. We had fun, and if you want to stick around, we got to do our 7th inning tradition, because we only play 7 innings on two majors.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready? Okay.
Yep.
We are back.
3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I'll ever get back for it. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's go some fun.
Awesome. We'll go get some runs next week.
Let's get some runs. Yeah.
Thank you. Alex Cohen was with us here today on Two Majors and a Minor. We'll see you sometime during the season.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.